We shall discuss about user-defined functions. So user-defined function is a function that is defined by the user. That is, we can write our own functions. These functions are called user-defined functions. What are the main parts of a user-defined function? First part is called function definition. Second part is function declaration, that is sometimes optional. We shall discuss that. Third part is function call. Function definition, as the name specifies, it specifies what the function should do or what are the statements in that function. Then function declaration. Function declaration is also called function prototype or function signature. We shall discuss in detail later. The third part is function call. Function call means to execute a function, it should be called. Okay. Now we shall see first function definition. So as we said, every function has its own purpose. For example, function for sorting. You are writing some statements for sorting. So that code we have to write in the form of function, right? That is called function definition. Function definition has two main components. One is, the first part is the function header, which is the first line in the definition. Then a opening curly bracket comes. Within that, you will be writing the statements in the function, and then there will be closing curly bracket. Okay, the statements written within this opening and closing curly bracket after the function header is called body of the function. So the two parts are function header, one function header, other one body of the function. Okay, first of all we shall see what is a function header. The syntax of function header is return type, name of the function, parenthesis, opening parenthesis, then you will be specifying the arguments or parameters. You'll be giving the type also, data type. If it is int, you'll be specifying it as int, and you'll be writing the parameters likewise. At the end, you will be closing the parenthesis. So this is the function header part. Okay, as I said earlier, after this function header part, what comes? Opening curly bracket, statements, closing curly bracket, which is the body of the function, right? So what is this return type? In a function, some function will be having a return statement. We shall see that later. That if the return statement is present in the function, that is function is returning some value. Then if the value is integer, the return type in the header will be int. And if it is returning a floating point value, the return type will be float. Some functions does not return any value. In such case, the return type in the header will be void. Name, as I said, function's name, type, data type of the argument and the corresponding arguments, etc. If there are no arguments in the function definition, you just write return type, name of the function, then opening curly bracket and opening parenthesis and closing parenthesis, like I will be showing that. This is the usual syntax of the function. If there is no argument, you can omit that argument, and the function header will be looking like this. Okay, so that depends on whether you have argument or not. So arguments means the value, the variables. So So we can pass values from the calling portion to this function. We shall see it later. These arguments in the function definition are also called formal arguments or formal parameters. We will be discussing about function call later. Okay, there we will be talking about actual argument. Okay, so arguments in the function definition is called formal argument or formal parameter, and arguments in function call is called actual argument or actual parameter. Okay. This formal argument and actual argument can be different. Suppose formal argument is using variable a. In actual argument we can use variable a or another variable. It does not matter. We shall see it later. Body of the function, as I said, after the header there will be opening curly bracket, closing curly bracket and set of statements. This set of statements are called compound statement. Okay. So it forms a function body. As I said earlier, function body can contain, may contain a return expression statement, that is return statement, or some functions will not contain return statement. That depends on the case. Okay. So we shall see one function header. Okay, we have to write a function. The name is add. Okay, and we prefer two integer arguments. We expect to find the sum of two numbers. Okay, so how the function header will look like? Add is the function name. Two integer values to be added. So int a comma int b, and suppose from the function you will be returning the sum. Sum of two integer is always integer. So the return value is also int. So here we can separate the parts. The int in the header is the return type. Add is the function name. Then parenthesis int space a. So int is the type of the argument a. Int b, int is type of the argument b. A and b are the formal arguments. Okay. The function can be defined as int add of int a comma int b. So this is a function header. Then curly bracket open and you are writing the statements for addition. Int c is one integer variable, c equal to a plus b. So a and b are added and the value is stored in c. Return c. Return c means the sum, whereas a plus b is stored in c, right? So the sum is stored in c and this c is returned to the calling function. We shall discuss later. So anyway, just look into this alone. You know, the body contains the last statement return c, return statement. Okay, c, the type is int. So the return type of function you can see in the header int add. So that int stands for the type of the value that is returned. Okay. So let's see an example where you're adding two floating point numbers. We shall see the definition. So it may be like this: add float a comma float b. The result will be floating point number. You are finding the sum, return c. Here the c is floating point number. So what about the return type of the function header? That is also float. Okay. So we shall take another example. Here the specialty is that we are finding the sum, but we are not returning the sum, but we are printing the sum. Okay. So add int a comma b, int c, cs and a plus b, and we are printing the value of sum. Okay. So is there any return statement in this function body? No. That is why the return type in the header is void. Okay. That is no return value is specified. We can also, in some cases, we can write like this. Okay, you are writing a return statement. Here also, same case only. You are not returning any value, you are simply returning. In this case also the return value is void only.